So, did you play around with those tasks and create your own prompts? Here are the example prompts I would draft. And I'll of course start with the first exercise here, with the first task. The goal here is to create a short product announcement text for a new AI-powered website generator. Now, with this task in mind, here's the example prompt I came up with. You are a product marketer AI whose job includes the creation of highly engaging and high converting product announcement texts. So here I'm assigning a role to ChatGPT, and with that I already set some important context here. For example, I define that any output produced by ChatGPT should be text that's highly engaging and leads to a high conversion rate. I also make it clear that we're talking about product announcements here. Now, with that role set, I then define the goal of this prompt by writing, your goal is to write a short product announcement text for a new AI-powered website generator. So here I'm basically picking up the text that was set by the task, and I'm setting this as a main goal for ChatGPT. With that out of the way, I then add some extra context. I define the intended output length, that it should be less than 400 characters long, and I set the target audience, that it has no programming experience and is not necessarily tech savvy. Then I also add some extra request to this prompt, you could say, by adding this piece of context. Highlight key advantages of this new product, the ease of use, finished websites in minutes, and highly customizable. Now, of course, I totally made that up. That's not part of the task, and if you did not add this, that's absolutely fine. This is just an example here, and of course, in real life, it would be realistic that we might want to highlight certain advantages of the product we are launching and that we know such advantages. That's why I'm including them here. Now, as you can see, with that prompt, I did indeed use short, focused sentences. I also added important keywords, like these advantages here, that it should be a short text, that it's a product announcement text. I described the product itself, and I added highly engaging and high converting here for extra context. And I did also define the target audience and the length of the expected output. I only indirectly set the tone and style here simply by defining the target audience in the end, that it has no programming experience and is not necessarily tech savvy. That should ensure that the response doesn't include any terms or wording that's not easily understood by a non-tech savvy audience. Now, I did not set any specific output format because I'm happy with standard text. Now, if I send this prompt to ChatGPT, I therefore get a result. I get this product announcement text. And as you see, it is pretty short. As requested, it's definitely less than 400 characters long. It includes the key information I wanted to include, and I would argue it definitely targets a non-tech savvy audience. Now, could you refine this? For sure. I could, for example, add a follow-up chat message where I tell ChatGPT to also add a call to action paragraph that prompts users to sign up for a free demo, because it would probably be realistic that if we had such a product, that we would be offering some kind of trial period or free demo, and adding this to the product announcement could make a lot of sense. So therefore, by sending this message, I also get this additional paragraph, which I can add at the end of that announcement text I got before. ChatGPT even tells me where I could insert my link that leads to the demo website. And that's therefore my solution for this first task. Now, definitely also share your solutions, because we're all going to learn way more if we share our experience with each other and if we share our learnings with each other. So definitely go to the Q&A section and share your prompt solution there, and let me know which example prompt you came up with. So now, with that first exercise out of the way, let's dive into the next one. create a Python code snippet that searches and deletes all PNG and JPEG files in a given folder. Now we could of course simply take that exercise text and paste it into the chat prompt here. And if we would send this, we would indeed probably get a result that is exactly what we want. We would probably get such a Python code snippet that we could use and that we could execute on our system to perform the intended task. Now you could absolutely stop here, therefore, and use this snippet. But I actually want to tweak this prompt here. For example, I came up with this prompt here. I'm again setting a role, which probably could be omitted here, but which also doesn't hurt. Then I again just copied in that text from the exercise, which in the end sets the goal for this prompt. But then I also added some additional context here. The user who executes the script should be able to define the folder dynamically. The script should accept the folder path as an input. Again, I'm using short, focused sentences here, and I'm adding some crucial extra context here, because that will actually change the content of the code snippet that will be created. Because in the previous code snippet which I got, and it's definitely possible that you got a different response, but in the code snippet I got, the path which would have been searched was included in the script code. Now, of course, you could replace it there, but it was directly in the script code. Now I want to get a script which, when executed, prompts the user for the path that should be searched, so that you don't need to go back to the code and update it whenever you want to search a different path, but that instead you can use this script without any changes, and it simply asks you for the path that should be searched. That's the goal here. In addition, I also control the output format. I'm telling ChatGPT that I just want the code snippet without all those extra explanations. Again, that of course might be something you do want, but here I just want the code. Therefore, if I do send this, I get just that code. Now, unfortunately, here for me, it also omitted all the formatting, which might not be the case for you. So therefore here I'm sending a follow-up message where I'm telling ChatGPT that it should format the code and style it as code in its response. And that now gives me the code in this more readable format here. With that, I then have some code that could be used to perform the given task. Now for the last exercise here, the goal was to create a ChatGPT prompt that writes an email to a colleague that you need feedback from. You need feedback on your submitted prototype, which you seem to have submitted to that colleague, until the end of the week. Now for this exercise, for this task, I came up with this example prompt. Again, just one possible solution, definitely also share yours. Now here in my prompt, I again, as pretty much always, I do set a role, making it clear that we're talking about writing emails here. Then I pick this role up again in my goal, where I describe the main goal of this prompt here. And then thereafter, I again add some extra context that the email should be friendly yet determined. So with that, I'm setting the tone of the target output. That ChatGPT in its result, in its output, should make it clear that the feedback is definitely needed until the end of the week. Again, highlighting the importance of this part of the goal by repeating those important keywords, end of the week. And then I also control the length of the response by making it clear that it should be a short, concise email, and I add the name of the colleague so that it can be included in the output generated by ChatGPT. If I now send this, ChatGPT goes ahead, gives me a subject even though I did not explicitly tell ChatGPT to add one, and then writes me that email. It's friendly and yet makes it very clear that I do need that feedback as soon as possible. You could say definitely until the end of the week. Now, of course, as all the results provided by ChatGPT, as mentioned earlier in the course, this is just a starting point. You can, of course, still tweak and refine it, and indeed often that is absolutely recommended. You might want to give it your own personal touch, but you can, of course, also just take it, plug in your name and send that email like this, and you saved yourself a couple of minutes of coming up with such an email yourself. So at this point, you already learned about a lot of important key concepts that you should be aware of when creating ChatGPT prompts. In the end, it's all about adding context, but as you learned, this context can take different shapes and contain different pieces of information. Now, in addition to all the concepts you learned up to this point, you also should be aware of another important aspect of prompt engineering. You should be aware of 0, 1, or few-shot prompting. And whilst this might sound fancy, it in the end simply means that you might want to provide some example output snippets as part of your prompt to help ChatGPT come up with its output, taking the tone, style, content structure, and other important pieces of information from your examples into account for the output created by ChatGPT. Now, 0-shot prompting is in the end what we did thus far. It simply means that you don't add any example to the prompt, and for many use cases and scenarios, this is absolutely fine, as you, for example, saw with the exercises I gave you in the previous lectures. But for certain use cases or scenarios, it could make sense to include one or a couple of examples in your prompt. Now, you definitely should not overdo it. You should not start putting huge amounts of examples into your prompt, because chances are high that this will actually, in the end, kind of confuse ChatGPT and add too much context, leading to worse results. But including a few short, concise examples to your prompt can lead to better results in certain scenarios. For example, the tweet I get from ChatGPT when just asking it to give me a tweet about the core idea behind ChatGPT is good, but doesn't really sound like I wrote it. It's not really written in the style I normally write my tweets in. That's why we could try one-shot prompting and give ChatGPT one example tweet which I did actually write. Or in this case, a part of a tweet I actually wrote. I'm providing it as an example to ChatGPT here to kind of set the tone of the tweet I want ChatGPT to generate. Now, it also picks up some parts of the content of the tweet I did write in the past, but that makes a lot of sense here, since the tweet I want ChatGPT to generate is about generally the same topic as the tweet I provided as an example. Now, to fine-tune the tone and style even more, we could also try few-shot prompting and provide 2 tweets as inputs, 2 example tweets. I have the same tweet as before, but now I also added a second tweet that has nothing to do with ChatGPT, and that's only there to give ChatGPT a better idea of my writing style and how my tweets look like. And with those example tweets provided, I'm indeed quite happy with the output I got here, though of course, as always, it is a starting point and I might want to tweak it a bit more. I might want to finish it personally on my own and give it my personal touch, but in my opinion, it's definitely better and better fits my writing style than the original example tweet I got from ChatGPT.